Hi everyone, I'm here to talk about ratios and how we can simplify ratios, knowing the equivalent ratios, and then doing different problem solving involving ratios. So, describing a ratio is a comparison of two or more numbers by division. And we know that ratios can be written in three different forms. So it doesn't matter what alphabet you're using to write your ratios. So you can do X to Y or you can do A to B. It depends. So this X to Y or A to B could be numbers. And ratios could also be written in this form: X is to Y or A is to B. And it can also be written as a fraction because a ratio is also a fraction. So we can write X over Y or A over B because a ratio is a fraction. So we know that Y or B, which is the denominator, cannot be 0. So we've got an example of a ratio. Remember, a ratio can be written as a fraction, it can be written as the ratio, or it can be written as X is X to Y or A to B. So we've got this number, 1 is to 4. So this means, or this tells us that for every one part of something, we've got 4 parts of something else. So we're going to be looking into simplifying ratios. Now we're going to look at simplifying ratios. We're going to look at 6 is to 27. Now to simplify this ratio, we're going to look for a number that can divide 6 and also divide 27. So we look into 3 times table because 6 is a multiple of 3 and 27 is a multiple of 3. So that will be 6 is to 27. So if we divide this by 3, we get 2. Divide this by 3, we get 9. We can no longer simplify this ratio, so our answer is 2 is to 9. Now let's look at question number 2. 25 is to 10. We're going to look for a number that has got these two numbers in their times table. So we know that in 5 times table, we can get 25 is a multiple of 5. 10 is in the 5 times table as well. So what we're going to do now is to divide by 5 to give me 5. Divide by 5 to give me 2. So now this ratio has been simplified to its simplest form. Now let's look at question number 3. 6 is to 30. We're going to look for a number that can divide 6 and also divide 30. Now when we look at this number, we can see that it is 6. So 6 can divide itself to give me 1, and then dividing it by 30 will give me 5. So this is the ratio simplified. Now we're going to be looking into questions or simplifying ratios that has got 3 numbers. So we've got 36, 48 and 72. Now for those of us that find it difficult to find a number that can go through these numbers, because when we look at that, we can see that we've got 12 times table, we've got 36 in 12 times table, we've got 48 in 12 times table, and we've got 72 in 12 times table. But what we're going to do now is to break it down by halving it until we can have no more. So let's start by halving this. I'm going to use a different color. We're going to have 36 to give me 18. We're going to have 48 to give me 24. Then we're going to have 72 to give me 36. We still have even numbers, so we're going to keep halving them. So we're going to have 18 to give me 9. We're going to have 24 to give me 12. And we're going to have 36 to give me 18. Now when we look at these numbers, 9 is to 12 is to 18. We can have 12 and we can have 18, but we cannot have 9. So we look at these numbers and find out if we can find them in any of the times table. Now we can find them in 3 times tables. So what we do is we divide by 3 to give me 3. We divide this by 3 to give me 4. We divide this by 3 to give me 6. So 3 is to 4 is to 6 is the simplified ratio. So we leave our answer this way. Now let's look at the last question on simplifying ratios. We've got 9 is to 12 is to 21. Now these numbers cannot be halved apart from 12. So we're going to look for a number that we can find these in its timetable. So we know that 3, we can find 9 in 3 times table, giving us 3. We can find 12 in 3 times table, giving me 4. And then we can find 21 in 3 times table, giving me 7. So the answer to this will be 3 is to 4 is to 7. Please make sure that any number you're using to divide, you're going to use that to divide all of them. Don't divide this by 3 and then divide this by 2. It needs to be same number for the 3 ratios. So even if you're given 4 numbers, you also have to get a number that can divide all the numbers. All right, so the next we're going to be looking at will be problem solving in ratios. So we're going to be doing different types of questions, exam style questions that you see during your exams. Okay, let's look at this question. In a tin of baked beans, weight of the beans is to the weight of tomatoes is to the weight of other ingredients. And the ratio is 3 is to 2 is to 1. Now in this question, there are 150 grams of tomatoes in the tin. Work out the weight of the beans. So we're going to work out the weight of the beans. But first of all, we've got 150 grams of tomatoes in the tin. So when you see this type of question in the exam, all you need to do is just to highlight or you underline the key things that are in the question. So we've got 150 tomatoes. So we're going to write 150 grams of tomatoes in the tin. So now we've got 150 grams. What we're going to do is 2 parts of the weight of tomatoes contains 150 grams. Now we're going to look for 1 part. 1 part is going to give me 150 divided by 2, which would be 75 grams. So for one part of the ratio, that is 75 grams. So now we're looking for the weight of the beans. The weight of the beans. So since we're looking for the weight of the beans, we're going to multiply 75 by 3. Now, if we multiply 75 by 3, we can use a calculator, or if you know how to work it out without using a calculator, that would be brilliant. So we know that 3 times 5 is 15, so I'm going to write 5. And then 3 times 7 is 21 plus 1, 22. So we've got 225 grams, and that is the answer. So the answer here should be 225 grams. So in case you ask to find the weight of other ingredients, what we need to do is, since one part is 75, so one part here is also going to be 75. So this is 150 grams, and this is 225 grams, and this is 75 grams. So we have worked out this question, question 4. The next question we're going to look at will be question 5. This is another type of ratio question. All right, this question now. Frank, Mary and Seth shared some sweets in the ratio of 4:5:7. And here it's telling us that Seth got 18 more sweets than Frank. So Seth got 18 more than Frank. So what we need to do for this type of question is to find the difference between Frank and Seth. So we know that Seth has got 7 and Frank has got 4. So the difference is 3. So what we do now is, knowing that 3 parts is equivalent of 18 sweets. So one part will be 18 divided by 3, which will give us 6. So one part is equal to 6. So since one part is equal to 6, what we're going to do is, looking at the question again, they're asking us to work out the total number of sweets they shared. So I'm going to multiply 4 by 6, giving me 24. 5 by 6, giving me 30. 7 by 6, giving me 42. Now the sweets, the total number of sweets they shared would be 24 plus 30 plus 42. So that will give me 96. All right. So we're going to do the last question on a ratio for today. So the last question, on a farm, the number of cows and the number of sheep are in the ratio of 6:5. So I've got cows, sheep, 6:5, and I've got another one which is sheep is to pigs in the ratio of 2:1. So now this type of ratio is different from every other ratio questions we've come across. So what we're going to do now, we're going to, the question says the total number of cows, sheep and pigs on the farm is 189. Now we're going to find how many sheep are there on the farm. So, but this is what we call the three-way ratio. So before we do this, we need to make sure that we've got 3 ratios instead of 4. Now to do this question, the easiest way to do this question, we've got sheep here and then we've got sheep here as well. So we're going to find a number that when we multiply with the sheep here will give us the same number as we multiply with this one. So I'm going to multiply this by 2 to give me 10. So I'm also going to multiply this by 5 to give me 10. Because if I try to use another number, it's not going to work. So the best way is to multiply each side by the number on the other side. Now we know that this sheep is to pigs is on the right hand side, and then this one, cows to sheep, is on the left hand side. So whatever we do for this side, we also do for the cows. So we're going to multiply by 2, and we're also going to multiply this by 5. So now we can have cows is to sheep is to pigs in the ratio of 2 times 6 is 12, 5 times 2 is 10. We've got 2 times 5 is also 10, so we got the same number for the sheep, and then we got pigs 5. So now the question here is the total number of cows, sheep and pigs on the farm is equal to 189. We're going to find out how many sheep we've got. So using ratio, we do 12 plus 10 plus 5. That will give us 27. We're looking for how many sheep are there on the farm. So what we're going to do next would be 10 over 27 multiplied by 189. So if I'm doing this, I want this number to also look like a fraction, so I can say over 1. Now we're going to cancel out. If this question comes out in a non-calculator paper, you're going to use the cancelling out. If you watch my video on fractions, you will understand what I mean by the crisscross cancelling out. So I look at 189. 3 can go into this, and it can also go into this. So 27 divided by 3 will give me 9. Now we've got this divided by 3 is going to give me 63. Okay. Now I've got 9 here and I've got 63. 9 can divide itself to give me 1. 63 can divide 9 to give me 7. So I've got 7 and I've got 10. So remember, 7 is on top here, not down here. So I've got to do 10 times 7. That will give me 70. So I've got 70 sheep on the farm. Okay, let's look at this last question. Ali and Sammy share some money in the ratio 2:3. Then Sammy gets 900. Work out how much money Ali gets. So we have Ali is to Sammy. 2:3. And Sammy gets 900, which means 3 parts is equal to 900 pounds. So 1 part is going to be 900 divided by 3, which will give us 300 pounds. So for 1 part is 300 pounds. So what we do is to multiply 300 by the 2 parts of ratio. You can see that now Ali is going to get 900, which is what we were told. And then Sammy gets 900 and Ali gets 600. So the answer to this question would be Ali gets 600. Now, if the question comes in this form, how much altogether did they get? you have to add 600 and 900 to give you 1,500. Okay, so I'm going to stop here for the ratio. If you've got any question on this ratio, you can pop it on the comments, and then make sure that you subscribe for more videos. All right, bye.